Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Well, here's an interesting little twist on a reading that I literally had just done. Nikki Haley just announced today is Tuesday, July 9th, that she is releasing her delegates to the Republican National Convention and urging them to support Donald Trump. Quoting her, "The nominating convention is a time for Republican unity. Joe Biden is not competent, to serve a second term, and Kamala Harris would be a disaster for America." God, that's kind of Trumpian language there. "We need a president who will hold our enemies to account, secure our border, cut our debt, and get our economy back on track. I encourage my delegates to support Donald Trump next week in Milwaukee." What do we got in here? Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, she's not even invited to Milwaukee. But she's okay with that. Trump deserves the convention he wants, and she's made it clear she's voting for him and wishes him the best. So she's releasing her 95 delegates to support Trump. Now, what's interesting with the messaging here is that she's trying to find unity, which makes me wonder if there's some concern on her part that there's going to be contentiousness there. Previously in May, she had said that she wished Trump would reach out to the millions of people who voted for her and not just assume they're going to be with him. And Trump has never reached out to those voters. But Biden has. Okay. And also Trump had said in May that Haley was not under consideration to be the VP. So he wants her money, but he doesn't want her. Okay, so I want to look around the energy of why is Nikki Haley offering this olive branch here to a convention she's not invited to. It just, to me, is alarming that she knows who Donald Trump is and she knows how the Supreme Court ruled, yet she's telling her delegates to go vote for Trump as opposed to voting their conscience. I don't trust Nikki Haley ever. Never, 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 never. She will never get my vote ever. Again, if I had a sentient bowl of refried beans versus her, I'll vote for the refried beans 10 times out of 10. Okay, entertainment purposes only. What's up with Nikki Haley in this announcement? The Lover's card. She's trying to make nice. Now, in my previous reading, I was saying I thought she was going to shoot her shot. If you're telling your delegates to vote for Trump, that doesn't make it seem like you're going to shoot your shot. So maybe something's changed in a major way here. Again, maybe she's deciding that 2024 isn't her time and 2028 is her time. So she's playing nice for the next election. Crossed with the Queen of Swords and the Four of Wands. Yeah. And it could be that I just misread this. I could have, because this just gives me the same vibe as before. Reaching out to embrace the Republican Party. It's opening day at the convention, and there's just kind of this pragmatism. Like, what can you do? You gotta choose your best candidate. Now, I took that to mean that she wanted to be the candidate that's welcomed in at the convention. And that could still be true, but now I give that a really low percentage chance of happening. Likely what it is, it's like, I don't think this is a good idea for me to get this. Maybe I'll sit this one out, but I'll come in on 2028 when Trump is no longer politically relevant. And then I could show how I was a team player. I supported Trump. I said if I got elected, I'd pardon him. Yada, 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 yada. That's the very straightforward reading on this. Now, if there were skullduggery where she says this, but she's really still planning on a coup, we'll see. But I'll just read this straight right now. In the past, we got the Star card. Honestly, to me, that was her. She was a rising star. She was like one of the first Republicans to announce their candidacy. Well, Donald Trump, I think, was the first. He announced his candidacy like the day after he was voted out, because that's his way of trying to stay out of prison. But she was like one of the rising stars. You had DeSantis too, but DeSantis dropped out quickly, and all hopes were riding on her. current situation is the King of Swords. She might have been talked to. A deal might have been cut for this announcement. That wouldn't surprise me. If it wasn't a deal that was cut, it's politics. So Lord knows what's going on in the background. I'm surprised that the Three of Coins doesn't show up on every position, because that's kind of what it is. But, we talk about a pragmatic, cut and dry decision, and this is her making that pragmatic, cut and dry decision here. Yeah, overarching energy is the Three of Wands. I think what it is it feels like this isn't her time. I think she did some soul searching and, thought about what it might look like if she were to shoot her shot at this convention, and she might just feel like it's not her time yet. Maybe their polling numbers showed that with the Supreme Court delaying Jack Smith cases on Donald Trump, that she won't get that support. Now, if he had his 34 felonies held up and he had been sentenced on July 11th, like he was supposed to be, and you've got and then you would have had the January 6th case go forward, we'd be in a different situation here. But because of the judicial interference going on, it impacted her decision. Lesson to be learned is the Queen of Cups. She's really good at sticking to a plan and keeping quiet and letting things play out. So she's not, by doing that, she's not made any gaffes. She hasn't said, don't support. Actually, she did say don't support Donald Trump just recently, which is why I did a reading on her, where she was saying, Biden's old and the Democrats are going to name somebody dynamic. The Republicans ought to think about doing that too, which is why I did a reading on her. And that was literally like 2 days ago. So maybe by saying that, she opened up a little bit and then somebody came in and had a discussion with her. Because going from that statement, which the implication is if Biden drops out and Kamala Harris takes his place, now Trump's the old gas passer. from reporting in the courtroom, at Judge Merchan's courtroom, he is a very prolific gas passer. Sorry, I didn't give you guys a warning. My apologies for your phone and computer screens and tablet screens for any coffee that might have been spewed on it with that little unexpected fart joke. Outcome is the Judgment card. Yeah, I think she tipped her hand a little bit, and folks talked to her about that. Outcome of this is Judgment, the energy around Nikki Haley. It's like, you know what? We'll let the delegates decide on this one. I'll still be curious to see if, now I'm going to have to ask if that's going to take the temperature down at the Republican National Convention now that she's done that, because she would have been the most likely person to be nominated to replace Donald Trump. And now she's saying, don't do that. Unless she's double bluffing. Unless she's like, and this is where I really can't go in there, because it's just like, I'll be talking in circles. So, the conspiracy would be like, oh, I said that, but the plan's still on. We're going to still do that. And then I'm going to be, oh, gosh, shucks, I said I didn't want to do that, but if you really want me in there, I guess I can do it. Yeah. I mean, that could be. Let's just park that off to the side somewhere. To me, it would have been simpler not to say anything, not to make a mention about the candidates being too old, and not to make any mention about releasing her electorates. I think, again, okay. So I want to. I'm rambling. I'm babbling. Sorry. It's because I'm processing this. I don't think much about these readings before I start. It's really jumping in both feet. I'm wondering if she threw that out as like a weather balloon, a testing, a balloon, when you throw it up there to test, how things are. So a trial balloon. And, we need a younger candidate. Did it start any buzz? Did anything change? Were discussions had? Maybe. And those discussions might have been, don't do that. or maybe no discussions happen. And she's like, you know, you dip, you put the pasta in the pot and the water didn't boil. It's like, okay, water's not hot enough yet for this. But why did she just recently say to not that the Republicans needed a younger, more vibrant candidate because she thought the Democrats were going to bring one in? Why did she say that? Or what was the outcome of her saying that? Little four-quarter. Page of Pentacles. I think she was just testing the waters. I think she was just testing the waters. You know, it's messaging. Page of Pentacles is about messaging, values, money, health. Ace of Wands. It was a move. You know, it was reported on and communicated. Things might have happened quickly. And we had a Strength card underneath, and the Seven of Swords. Honestly, I think it was a move to see what the Democrats would do. You know, it's like, I'm going to throw this out there, you know, just adding fuel to the Democratic fire of what to do with Joe Biden. And, you know, it got covered, but maybe if she was looking, and again, we got the theft here with the Seven of Swords. If the Democrats had done a big move and made a big change because of this, then she would have had leverage to steal the nomination. But I don't think she got that from this. One thing that's interesting that I have been thinking about the last couple of days, again, since I made that Nikki Haley video, is that in this case, the Republicans are at a disadvantage because they have to nominate their candidate first. So if Nikki Haley's saying, nominate a young, vibrant candidate, I don't know, like me, how would the Democrats have responded? Would they have left Biden in there? Or would they have panicked and gone for somebody else? But since the Republicans have to nominate their candidate, you know, several weeks before the Dems, if they nominate Trump, you know, it's going to make it a lot easier for Biden to stay as the main nominated to be the Democratic nomination. If they had nominated like a Nikki Haley, that could have really thrown a mix in the works. It was funny listening to Susan Lin and Kim the other day when I was driving around, because Kim has been on for months saying, you know, the election, I see the election the election as it looks now, and she's talking like the fall of last year, the winter of last year, the spring of this year, looks very different than the fall of 2024. And I think what it was is there was an opportunity for both parties to nominate younger candidates. And probably if one did, the other would follow suit. And I think she saw that possibility. I would be really curious after this announcement if her read on the energy has changed. Obviously, by the time the Republican convention is done, the Republicans have, you know, they've made their choice. And the only reason why you would have a different candidate is if Trump has some major health event that takes him out. Either makes him a non-viable candidate or brings him to the great McDonald's in the sky, as Susan Lin would have. And I think Susan Lin also saw that same thing. I believe her take on it was, you know, if Trump and Biden are in there, Biden's going to win. If Kamala Harris was with the Democrats and the Republicans had somebody else, Kamala Harris would win. So she still sees the Democrats winning. It's just whoever was the president at that time. Okay. And why do I quote other readers and stuff like that? So that you get, if you haven't seen them, you get a vibe for what they're going on, and that if I come up with some idea, it may not be wholly my own. I could be biased by it, so I'm sharing my biases with you. So I'm just being honest and forthright with everything that goes on. I do try to make up my own mind on things, but hey, I'm human. I'm biasable. Okay, so what have we looked at? We looked at Nikki Haley, the energy around her with her announcement for handing over her delegates. We looked over what happened with her previous message, what changed, or why did she do her previous message if only 2 days later or a day later she's changing her mind. Let's look at the energy now around the Republican National Convention. Will there be a redneck riot at the convention, or is it just going to be a giant kumbaya party with firearms? My brother was telling me they're allowing firearms in there. God. Because, nothing bad could happen with that, right? Jeez. I hope they give them all the alcohol they could drink, too. That ought to be fun. Good old, it's like watching a Bugs Bunny cartoon in the West, Bunch of drunk guys with guns. Where's Yosemite Sam when you need him? All right, Republican National Convention. How are things looking now, energy-wise? 3 of coins. That may not stop the underground insurrection going on. Now, this could just be teamwork. This could be planning, dark money. I was previously reviewing this as, an undercurrent pushing against Trump. But let's see if that energy has changed. There's your King of Swords again. And your Justice card. That pause brought to you by allergies. Allergies. Ragweed. Try it out for yourself. Ragweed. Yay. Sorry, I deleted out the sneeze that I just had there. Okay, so we've got the discussion behind the scenes, but then you've got the King of Swords, which was the current situation with Nikki Haley. I think Nikki Haley maybe understood there was an insurrection going on and she's putting the kibosh on it. Or she said, yeah, don't do that. I don't want this. Underneath this is justice or injustice. It could be that she's just looking at this convention like it's almost like she's saying, he won fair and square. I suspended my campaign. He won. Let's do this. Or, actually, what it is? Because Donald Trump never wins anything fair and square, right? I think what it is this is the Supreme Court's decisions impacted the planning that she had on there. Because now he's got all this potential immunity that would have been the undermining reasons to put her in his place. In the past, you had the Four of Swords. There was some planning going on. There were some shenanigans planned, and they were just biding their time to see what was going to happen. Messaging just came out, probably from Nikki Haley just now, saying, I want all my delegates over there. It's going to be a celebration. No, so this might have stopped a lot of bloodshed over there. Oh God, look at these next cards. So, yeah, I think I think they called off the insurrection at the Republican National Convention. I think there was planning, there was forethought into it, but this communication is going to put that off. I think the convention itself will be a celebration for Donald Trump's victory, and that's going to be their pick going into 2024. He lost the last election. They're going to make it his election to lose again. Actually, it's really Biden's election to lose. Hate for Biden to have to go look for 10,784 votes, as part of his presidential duties. Okay, what's the lesson to be learned from this about face with Nikki Haley? So it looks like the brawl, the redneck brawl at the Republican National Convention has been postponed, if not canceled. Now, if 2 days from now Nikki Haley says, I'm taking it all back, then we'll do another reading. I'll be in Canada at the time, but we can always do another reading then. 10 of Swords, and goes popping up there. Spiritual lesson to be learned from this. Everything comes to an end, And that was also with the High Priestess, the Divine Feminine Wisdom here. But let's get a 4-carder here. This card wants to stay on top. If it's a Page of Pentacles, I'm just going to stop this video. No, it's the 3 of Wands. It's finding the right timing. Spiritual lesson. It's about decisions, timing of decisions. Waiting for the right moment, not wanting to move too quickly here. Fighting from a position of advantage. Getting your allies set up. Almost like there's a naivety or a nostalgia here, like the good old days when the Republicans got along and were lockstep. Strong emotions here. I think emotions were running high, and Nikki Haley is being a stateswoman in that she knows that she could do something about it. And there was a peace offering made that she knew she had a good chance of getting the nomination, but I think maybe she thinks the timing's not right, and you only get one shot at this. You shoot your shot, and if she failed, she would never be trusted again in Republican circles. So I think she's going to sit this one out, and she's going to go for 2028. That's going to be my guess on the spiritual lesson on this one. So it could very well be her donors asked her to sit this one out. That's what that Knight of Pentacles could be. That the big ticket donors said, we'll back you again in 28 if you relinquish stuff now. We'll see. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.